Thank you for having us. Thank you for being here. Before we start today, I thought, could you help us capture this moment for all the Expedians back home? Because I think they would love to feel like what it would have been to be here. So you have your wristbands. If you could put them in the air and do an Expedia-sized light show, and let me capture that for you. Oh, awesome. Wave it, wave it, wave it. There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, where's that clicker now? Okay. John and I are excited to be here. We're so pumped. You're going to see a lot of great technology being showcased today. You're going to see a lot of great product. And I want to start by saying that none of this would be possible if we didn't have the insights from our partners. So thank you very much for your insights. Thank you for making our jobs easier. And thank you for your partnership. The second thing I'd like to share with you is that this is our first time on stage today. Right? It's the first time we're in front of this audience. So we thought we would start by sharing what our principles are. These are the ideas that we use to encourage our teams, to get them to build great products, to inspire them to build disruptive products like our real-time platform, because we believe that our great products are built by our great teams. And to make these great products, we share with them these basic ideas that we call our principles.
So I love travel. I love meeting new people. I love the food. I love trying new things. And I know that people in this audience feel exactly the same way. And so when you love something so much, it's just so easy to generate millions of ideas. If I sit down with any particular person in this room and we start thinking about brainstorming ways and opportunities to improve the traveler experience, we would be here forever. Why? Because in our bones, we know all the little nooks and little things that make the travel experience problematic and what makes it delightful. So the question that I often get is that, how do we pick? There's so many ideas. How do we pick the one thing that we want to invest in? Do we create visions? Do we have a perspective of the world that we're marching towards? And the answer is no. And there's a reason why the answer is no. The marketplace is changing too fast. Technology is changing too fast. Consumers are highly, highly unpredictable. So it's a waste of time to actually sit down and pretend that you can predict the future, because we can't. So rather than actually trying to create visions where we try to chase and create a future that we think will occur in a world that we think will emerge, what we'd rather do is actually invest in an approach. Our approach can be summarized into 4 core principles. The first principle is really about being scientific. Now, this is our religion at Expedia. What does this mean? Well, we have distributed teams all around the world. We have teams in Gurgaon, we have teams in Singapore, London, all over the US, Australia. As we're starting to think about what is it that you build, Aman and I can't be everywhere all at once. So we ask them to do very, very specific things. And those things are really encompassing an approach and a process in which they start to build products. They're close to a problem, they see observations, they create hypotheses, they create tests to test whether those hypotheses are true, and then they follow the data. We have to be religious and very, very methodical in this approach. And then we know if we do that right, we can iterate ourselves towards a breakthrough.
So for me, the scientific method goes well beyond what we do at work. I bring it into every part of my life. A few years ago, my brother and I decided that we should try a family experiment. You know, there are social experiments. These are things I do to my directs all the time and, give them a hard time. But we thought we'd try it in the family. And the idea was that my brother and I had lived apart for 15 years. We said, what would happen if we moved in together? It's like, okay, so I know you're older than me and you get to go first, we're Asian, but move in together? Like, I haven't lived with my dad for a really long time. I said, okay, how about this? Let's start easy. My wife and I, our daughter, and you guys, which two kids, my wife and I, we'll move in together, and then we'll layer on our parents. We'll try this experiment that ultimately is 3 generations living together. So we do that, and we've been doing that for 5 years. I can tell you that in my household, it's difficult to decide where to go for dinner. The 4-year-old has an opinion, and it has to be listened to. When we talk about travel, and I was very, very lucky growing up. My parents loved to travel. I got to see the world. Living in India, I got to see the world very early on. But the world has become a complex place. There are so many opportunities, so many places we can go, that when we plan travel, it's really, really difficult. Guess who it falls to? You know, I am not only tech support in my household, I am now the travel support person. Right? So planning is hard, and you've tried to plan travel. Well, in our case, we have to plan travel for 9 people with very different needs. And when we do travel, you can imagine my elation. I have declared victory when we have entered that hotel room. I have put the bags down, and I've said, we are here. Thank you very much. And then 7 pairs of eyes turned to me and my brother, and like, and what are we going to do? So it's really difficult. Traveling is complex for us as well. And hence, what we think about is the thing that we love most, which is traveling, creates fear for certain people. People sometimes are traveling for the first time. They're going places they've never heard about. They've only seen on the internet. And we, John and I, must make it easier for them. We must take the fear of travel away, and this is our second principle, which is make it easy. It is John's job and my job to make traveling easy, to make planning travel easy. It's John's job to make travel easy for my family. That's important too.
So making things easy is actually getting harder. Why is that? Because people in the world is becoming way more distracted. As you start to think about a user and you actually watch them in the lab, it's really hard for them to complete even one task because they want to check their email, they want to go browse a bunch of sites, they're on Amazon, and they're literally in a lab. We give them a script, and they will go off script in a matter of seconds. And what's amazing is that 90 seconds later, they don't remember anything they've done. They're just completely distracted. So how do you build experiences in a world like this? Well, this is actually a screenshot of my niece on her computer. She's on Google Hangout talking to 2 of her friends. She's playing this game called League of Legends. It's very, very popular among the college crowd. And she's also, you can't see it on the screen, but she's actually also texting. So when I walk by, and she'll do this on our kitchen counter, when I walk by and I'll ask her, hey, have you done your homework? She says, yeah, I'm doing it right now. Of course, I don't believe her. One other thing that is interesting about this generation is that she and her generation will be the first generation that has spent more time empirically playing games than in formal education. So this is part of the fabric of how they've grown up. These are the frameworks in which they learn. It's something that we can't ignore. Here's another interesting fun fact about her. She does not drive. Now, growing up, when I was 14, I couldn't wait to turn 15. In fact, the day that I turned 15, 8 a.m., I was at the DMV. I made my dad drive me to the DMV at 8 o'clock so I could get my learner's permit. Now, why did I want to drive so bad? Well, I just imagined a world where I'd get a job, I'd be able to visit my friends at will, that I'd have total freedom and independence. And in my generation, 72% of teens could drive by the time they were 19. Today, that number has dropped to 50%. In the next 5 years, it'll be much lower than that. So when given the choice, and actually, if you ask my niece why this is happening, she'll just tell you, I'd rather text. So she'll tell me a story of, hey, you'll get in the car with 3 of your friends, and everyone's texting, Facebooking, Snapchatting, except the driver. So nobody wants to be the driver because that's the person who's not connected. When given the choice between the ultimate freedom, which is driving, and their phone, the consumers have spoken. It is their phone. That's how much they love being connected. Okay, so this is not just a US phenomenon. In Korea, digital has become the fabric of society. Gaming is big. They hold the Digital Olympics in Korea now. There's a saying on the internet that says, if you want to marry a Korean girl, you must beat their father at StarCraft 2. Now, you might think this is a joke, but this is true in my household. My niece brought home her boyfriend for the first time Thanksgiving. My brother, my dad, and the new boyfriend. We said we should have a friendly game of StarCraft 2. Now, here's what's really interesting is there's no such thing as a friendly game of StarCraft 2, just so you know. What is ironic, though, about this trend is that my observation, this is actually not scientifically proven, The more you play StarCraft 2, the more likely you are to be single. This may actually explain and contribute, it may be a contributor to why the Korean population is under such rapid decline, and actually they're even predicting their extinction by 2750. We are competing for time. We are competing with Candy Crush. Whether you like it or not, these games are designed to take minutes away from our consumers' lives. That leaves them less time to plan, less time to travel, and sometimes it's all that's on their mind. We have to compete with them head to head. It's an imperative. So it used to be that it was all about relevancy. When you'd walk into an internet company, they'd say, it's all about relevancy. Now it's about being interesting. And that's a little different. You have to be relevant. That's table stakes. Being interesting is the new game. So that brings us to our third principle, which is don't be boring. Now, this was a random Tuesday afternoon. We just decided to dress up as superheroes. Obviously, you recognize Dara as the Flash. Now, who you don't recognize is in that mask is in Darth Vader is Aman. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that Darth Vader is not a superhero.
No. Wait. Hold, please, time out. So here's the thing. John and I agree on a lot of things. We completely disagree on what constitutes a superhero. Lots of you grew up with Star Wars like me. Huge fans. Yeah? Round of applause for Star Wars? Yeah? Great. Good. So you know Star Wars. What is a superhero? Superhero has a mask, has a cape, has superpowers, and who kills the Emperor at the end of Star Wars? Who kills the bad guy in Star Wars? It's Lord Vader. So what better superhero than Lord Vader, John? Come on.
You know what? I love giving Aman a hard time, if you can tell. All right, so when we're in lab, what we do is we actually have a lab where we hook up these sensors to people's faces. We can read their emotion. In seconds, we know what they're feeling. So we then give users a task, which is play a game. And what you'll see is that when they're playing a game, when they're given an extreme challenge, you'll see their bodies tense up. And then when they beat the challenge or finish, you see them relax. And it is that tension and the relaxation that creates dopamine in the brain, which creates the addiction, which creates the delight, which makes things interesting. So that's the first observation. Second observation is that when you ask users to do everyday tasks, check email, shop for shoes, look for travel, there's nothing more stressful as a task than buying travel. That means as a community, as an industry, we have an incredible opportunity to create delight among our consumers. We have a competitive advantage. We can win the war versus Candy Crush.
Which brings us to principle number 4. And for those of you that have watched the film Jiro Dreams of Sushi, this will sound very familiar. Before we talk about it, we're going to let Jiro talk to you about it and hear from the man himself. So if we could roll the video, please. Thank you.
やっぱり美味しいっていうのはどういうことだって言うからね、美味しいっていうのはそれ難しいでしょ、美味しいっていうのはどういうことだって言われたって。だけどああ夢だったっていうのはありますよ。だから頭の中そういうのがいっぱいはびこってたんじゃないかなと思いますけどね。新しいのってね、びっくりして飛び起きたことあるもん。これやったらいいんだなって夢でしょあれ。だけど飛び起きる時あるもん。その自分がやろうと思った仕事、それにもう没頭しなきゃダメです。好きにならなきゃダメです。その自分の仕事に惚れなきゃダメなんですよ。ただあれがダメこれがダメって言ってたら一生経ってもまともなことはできないと思います。だから自分がこれを覚えようと思ったらそれもう必死になって死に物狂いでやるということが成功にもつながるだろうし、それから自分が良くなった時に立派な人間になれるんじゃないかなと私は思いますけどね。でも例えばお寿司を作ってやってる。だけどまだあるんだろうまだあるんだろうって上を見るわけでしょ。ということはまだ上に何かがあるっていうこと。そこまで頂上まで行けば完璧かも分かんないけど、じゃあこの頂上はどこかっていうと分かんないわけですよ。 仕事しててこの年になって完璧だとは思っていないからね。気分いいですよ。一日中ほんわかほんわかで握ってられるし、職人根性でしょうねこれは。
Jiro is a shokuni. His goal in life is to come in every day and make better sushi than yesterday. Because you remember who you were yesterday. You remember how you did something yesterday. You don't remember how you did something a year ago. If you can be better just a tiny bit every day, in 5 years, you can be twice as good as you are. That makes you unstoppable because people can't compete with you if you're learning at the rate of per day basis, where your cycle times a day. This is what we use to inspire our teams. We tell them, come in and be better than yesterday. Don't worry about whether the test won or it failed. Failure is your friend. Just get a group of people together, make them believe in something, and just win. Because people that win get used to winning at everything. And when you do that, we remind them that to make small changes. Because every day, if you make a small change, with the insight that you have from our partners and customers, with the big data that we have, you can do some really big things with small changes. So the question for me is, if you take our 4 principles, our approach, if you layer onto that the power of our real-time data platform, and you add to that the insight of the thousands of our partners, what do we get?
Well, the answer is we don't exactly know, but we really want to find out. We think we're on the precipice of something revolutionary. We want to get very tactical now, which is there's 3 workshops where we're going to talk about some tools that take advantage of the real-time platform. Stacking the ads, the power promotions, how to get chosen more often. And then we do have also this continuous thread, meet the teams behind the products at the Connection Cafe. Aman and I will be there personally. We would love to meet anyone who would like to talk about product or engineering or the future or our approach. It's the best part of being here is being able to talk to people face to face about the issues they see and the ideas that they have. We want to thank you so much for your time and attention.
And thank you for your partnership.